2 years ago, I posted a video on my YouTube channel that I was quitting caffeine after 12 years.
Hey guys, I stopped drinking coffee.
And I truly did. But since then, I've started drinking caffeine again. But it's not what you think. I want to share my experience with you about why I quit caffeine in the first place, about the withdrawal symptoms that I experienced and how long those lasted, the main benefits that I experienced and when those started to occur, and lastly, the challenges that I faced while trying to stay caffeine free. Now, I will tell you right off the bat that my decision to quit caffeine was a life-changing decision because it truly impacted my life in a very positive way. Section 1 is why I quit caffeine in the first place. For years, I would drink multiple cups of coffee throughout the day, relying on it heavily to get through anything that I did in the day. As soon as I'd wake up, I would get ready and make my way over to the gym. But before I got there, I would stop at the Starbucks along the way and I would get a venti ice cold brew and drink that entire thing before my morning workout. As soon as I was done with my workout, I would then head to the office and I would cross a Starbucks along the way. And so I'd pick up a cup of black coffee and then head up to my office. Later on in the day after lunch, I would get a post-lunch crash, of which I felt the best thing to do at that time was to drink more caffeine. So I'd go down and get another cup of black coffee and drink that. Or if I had a meeting with clients, I might save that coffee until the meeting and then I would go out and engage my client in a discussion and a cup of coffee. I felt like it was necessary for me to get through my busy schedule, and it also made me feel like I could get by on 6 hours of sleep a night. But as time went on, I noticed some serious side effects. I was experiencing energy crashes throughout the day, which would leave me feeling really sluggish. I started to feel really unproductive. I started to feel more anxiety when faced with stressful situations. I didn't have any trouble sleeping at night, but I never felt truly rested. One day I looked around me and I noticed that the people who had the most energy and focus throughout the day were the people who were not drinking any caffeine or were only getting their caffeine through tea. This made me very curious and I knew I had to do something. I knew I needed to make a change, but I was really scared because I didn't know how I was going to get through my day without any caffeine, but I knew I had to try. So I made the decision to quit caffeine and not go back to it until I felt like I was no longer needing caffeine to get through my day. So I just made the decision to quit caffeine, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Caffeine is a stimulant, and when you stop drinking it, especially if you were drinking as much as I was, you're definitely going to go through a withdrawal. I was really nervous about what to expect. The symptoms can range from mild to severe and can include headaches, fatigue, irritability, and even depression. For me, the withdrawal symptoms were really rough. I experienced all of the symptoms that I mentioned, and I completely lost all motivation to do anything. The first few weeks were the worst. I had a constant headache and I felt like I was in a really deep fog. I couldn't concentrate, I lost all motivation to do anything, and I just wanted to sleep all the time. Things that were fun were no longer fun anymore. For most people, this withdrawal phase can last anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. For me, it took 3 to 4 weeks to be fully clear of any cravings for caffeine. It also took me that long to feel normal again, but this was different. I like to refer to this as the new normal. Now, once you make it through the withdrawal phase, you then start to really feel all the benefits of quitting caffeine. I experienced so many benefits. I sleep deeper and for much longer. I'm no longer what I would call a morning person because I have constant energy throughout the day and I can be productive at any time of the day. I have much more stable energy throughout the day. One of the biggest benefits I noticed was that I'm able to think much more creatively, which makes sense to me because when you're drinking caffeine or coffee, you're much more linearly focused on the task that you're doing, that it tends to block out the creativity that happens when you're in a calm and relaxed state. I used to sleep for 6 hours a night and felt like that was enough, but after quitting caffeine, I learned that my body prefers if I sleep 8 hours a night. And with that, my memory, my mental clarity, and my ability to solve problems all improved. I felt calm and centered when I met with clients, and I was able to have deeper and more meaningful conversations. Quitting caffeine was just the first step. The biggest challenge I faced was social pressure. Whether it was a coffee date with friends or a work meeting at a coffee shop, there was constant temptation all around because it felt like everyone around me was drinking caffeine. Another challenge I faced was the craving for that mental boost and endorphin and dopamine rush that you get with each sip of caffeine. Sometimes when I'm feeling stressed or tired, I would get a huge craving for a cup of coffee. So I tried really hard to say no and find alternative solutions. A year after quitting, I started to drink caffeine-free herbal teas, but then I later started drinking green and black tea, which most of you know has caffeine. But I have to say that I've learned to manage any caffeine cravings with a cup of tea instead of a cup of coffee. And the difference in the amount of caffeine in a cup of tea versus a cup of coffee is pretty significant. At the same time, caffeine has a relaxant effect due to the L-theanine that is present in tea. Now it turns out that after all this time away from caffeine, I've become highly sensitive to it. One cup of tea was enough to keep me energized and focused while also keeping me centered and calm throughout the day. I feel way more in control of my body and my habits, and I can understand my thoughts and myself better. If you're about to start this journey and you have a question that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to drop it in the comments below and I'll make sure that I get back to you. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, it'd be great if you could smash that like button and also subscribe to this channel for more content like this.